Welcome to Destination Vacaville, brought to you by Visit Vacaville, the city's official voice for tourism. I'm your host, Melyssa Reeves. In every episode, I will introduce you to the people and places that make visiting Vacaville such a unique travel experience, like seasonal adventures, agricultural tourism, family activities, craft beer, culinary delights, wine country, and more. Subscribe and leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. Destination Vacaville, let's go. I would love to introduce Dave McCallum to our podcast today. He goes by lots of different titles, but the most important one to me is definitely board chairman. Dave, thank you so much for being here. It almost seems silly, like having this conversation this way, because I'm so used to sitting with you in our boardroom all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's so nice to see you here. It's lovely to have you.
This is different. It's great to be had. I have to say, I'm so excited about this, Melyssa. I've not participated in many podcasts before, and so I'm really excited to talk about all the good things that Vacaville has to offer and that Visit Vacaville is doing. So, gosh, fire away! I am so ready.
Awesome. Well, so Dave, obviously, as I mentioned, you're my board chair, but you're super active in the community. So introduce yourself to our guests and let them know kind of what you do besides just, make sure that I do my job and stay on my P's and Q's. What else do you do?
No, I actually, it's such a pleasure to work with Visit Vacaville because I've lived in this town most of my life. I actually grew up in Vacaville, moved here in 1967. I was just 7 years old when my family moved here, and when Vacaville was just under 8,000 people.
Oh my.
Yeah. And I've went to Vacaville schools, have enjoyed life here so much that, I've traveled all around, but I really just always come back to Vacaville. I just love living here, staying here, working here. Some of my other roles, I actually work at KUIC Radio, and so I do marketing for the radio station, some of its digital services as well. I'm on the Vacaville Library Commission, also serve as president of the Solano County Library Advisory Board. I've served on VPEF, the Vacaville Public Education Foundation, the Downtown Business Improvement District. I won the Pillsbury Bake Off.
We're very proud of you for this, Dave.
That strawberry cheesecake really is my specialty. No, I love the town, and I like to serve, and it's been a pleasure. When you and I met, Melyssa, and you asked me if I'd serve on the Visit Vacaville board, I had no hesitation at all because there's so much going on in this community that we need to highlight, and it's a pleasure to do it.
Clearly, you're a very busy guy, so I'm so grateful that you chose our board as one of your many extracurricular activities. But I think that also you're a little humble because you are not just in sales at KUIC. You are the sometimes host of some of the shows on KUIC, and I think people will immediately recognize your voice when they listen to this podcast.
Maybe, it's
you're very famous.
I can only hope, but when I was doing it full time, because I used to be on the air full time when I was young and insane and willing to get up at 3:38. Then I grew up and decided, now that's not for me anymore. But it was funny because you'd be in the grocery store, you go into Winco or something, and they'd say, "Is that all?" And I said, "Yeah, that's all for today. Thank you." And they would just stop and they would pause, like, "Do I know you?" Then you get all puffed up, kind of like, "Oh wow, the ego really is being fed right now." And I'll say, "Well, maybe I'm on KUIC," and they'll say, "No, that's not it." So your ego is brought up only to be crushed, but
right. Well, we will do our best to build it right back up while you're here. So, of all of the boards and the many things that you participate in the community, was it just pity for you coming on the Visit Vacaville board, or was there some reason that you were drawn to Visit Vacaville?
No, it wasn't pity. There's no one.
Good. Thank you.
No, but it was just such a great opportunity to talk about the things that are happening in this town and around this town. And it's funny because when I joined Visit Vacaville, many people didn't know there was such an entity. It's like, Visit Vacaville, what the heck is that? And when you start to describe it, they're like, really? People visit Vacaville? And then you say, yeah. And then you start to tick off all the things that this area has to offer. The premium outlet stores, all the wonderful hiking and biking trails around here. Lake Berryessa, all the wonderful activities going on downtown, Town Square, the Creek Walk, all these things. They're like, oh, well, yeah, there is a lot going on in Vacaville. And it's not something strikes people immediately because they, especially if they live here, take it for granted. And so I kind of am working with Visit Vacaville to sort of spread the word about all the cool things that are offered here, not just to visitors, but people who actually live in this town who may not even be aware of it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so grateful to have you as not only a member of our board, but also a Pied Piper out spreading the good word. So Dave, not only because I just wanted to have a great conversation with you today, and you're always so much fun, but also I wanted to have you on today because we are coming up on National Travel and Tourism Week. I'm sure it's the biggest week of the year for everybody in town. I know everybody's very excited. Okay, maybe not, but it is definitely the biggest week of the year for me. I'm very excited.
I'm just thrilled about it. And for me, that'll carry us. I think that's fun.
That's right. We'll throw a party for all.
Tourism is really important to our city, and I know that you work so hard in the organization, Melyssa, to wave that flag and to spread that word. And why is it? I mean, certainly there are cultural and financial and many benefits to tourism, but what are some of those things that jump out at you as being really important and impactful things as far as the tourism industry goes in our city?
I think the thing that people don't realize is that tourism really is economic development. So there's a city economic development team, there's a county economic development team, and we work really closely with both of those organizations to make sure that basically we are providing economic benefit to our city. So we're trying to make sure that those city coffers are full so that all of those great services, tourism helps pay for police, it helps pay for fire, we help fill potholes. That's what tourism does. The hotel tax that is generated from our visitors to Vacaville goes into our general fund. That is the only tax that a city does not have to share with any other entity. So hotel tax doesn't have to go to the county, like a portion of it doesn't have to go to the county. It doesn't have to go to the state. It's the only tax that a city gets to keep entirely. So again, that money really works for our community and pays for those services that our residents enjoy.
That's fantastic. We've been through a couple of really, frankly, ugly years, with COVID. The pandemic was pretty devastating in a lot of sectors. How has that affected Vacaville, do you think? And how is the city rebounding from that?
I mean, clearly it was pretty devastating to a lot of our businesses. Our restaurants definitely struggled. Our hotels, unlike many cities, they declared their hotels non-essential. They closed them down entirely. We never did close down entirely here. We always had hotels open for, anybody that needed to, if they had sick family members and needed someplace to go and hole up while they recovered at home, our hotels were open. But of course, during the height of the pandemic and the stay-at-home orders, our hotels were definitely very, very impacted. I am so happy to report that we are actually back to about 2019 occupancy levels. So our hotels are very busy again. We call this revenge tourism. People feel that travel is a right. And that right was taken away from them for a couple of years. And so I think, you and I have had this conversation a number of times, Dave, that, travel is one of those things we always need to have a trip planned. There always needs to be something on the books. And I think when that was taken away, I think there was this very real thought that as soon as the world opens up again, we're getting back out there. And so leisure travel has picked up in a very major way and is really sustaining our hotels. We do think that our meetings business and our corporate business is going to take a little bit longer to come back, but it is, I think on the meeting side, people are really understanding that there's nothing like face-to-face. Zoom's fantastic. It was great to have as an option, but being face-to-face with somebody, being able to have a conversation, shake hands, have a drink at the bar, those are really, really important things to our businesses and getting our economy back going on the tourism side.
And it's an excuse to put pants back on. I mean, really, when you think
this is true. We do have to start wearing normal clothes again, which I will tell you is sometimes really hard.
Gosh, I'll tell you, one of the things that I had to relearn was, putting clothes back on with zippers and buttons. I mean, I totally lost that skill.
Heels. I forgot how to walk in heels. I'm like, I just put on socks every day. That's it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that things are starting to rebound. I hope they're not, not so much that I have to return those towels to Courtyard by Marriott. But I'll
right. I didn't tell about that, by the way. It's our secret.
I'll check with the GM over there. If they need them, hey, I'm perfectly willing to get them. Can you tell us a little bit about Visit Vacaville as an organization? And I mean, I was so pleased to join it when I heard everything that the organization does. I was like, I want to be a part of that. But I mean, from branding and marketing to working with our major employers to working with some of the statewide and national organizations involved in tourism and travel. I mean, you do it all.
We do. We're very involved in the community on, not only, I think Visit Vacaville obviously brings up this idea that all we do is work with visitors, but we try to be really good community partners and work with our residents and our community partners as well. Just kind of on the basic end, we are the official marketing organization of the city of Vacaville. We call ourselves a destination marketing organization. And I think the one thing that people really don't understand is how our funding works. Most people think we're a department of the city. We actually are not. We are what they call a business improvement district. So our hotels, all of them, came together about 18 years ago and said, we want to have a marketing organization that helps support our hotels through marketing and promotion and helps us do what we can't do for ourselves. None of our hotels, they're all small. They didn't have large marketing budgets. So they wanted an organization that could do that for them. So they decided to self-assess. So they assess 3% on the hotel guest when they stay. That 3% is paid to the city of Vacaville when they remit their hotel bed tax. And then the city of Vacaville remits that to us. So Vacaville is our funding partner in that way, but the money does come from the hotel guest. And we thank them and we thank all of them for staying in our hotels. This is not unusual. Almost every city in California has a tourism business improvement district at this point. But, it not only benefits our visitors and our hotels by being able to market and promote. That promotion helps our restaurants. It helps our arts groups. It helps our retail stores. We're promoting all of that. All of our event promoters, we promote their events. In addition to just promotion, again, we're working with our economic development partners. We're working now. Our role has really shifted since COVID. We're working now with organizations like the Workforce Development Board on trying to get people into hospitality jobs and share why the tourism industry and the hospitality industry is important to our community and that there is a pathway to higher earning jobs and there's a career path there. We're very involved with our partners at the Downtown Business Improvement District, the Chamber of Commerce. So our role is pretty far-reaching. Of course, marketing is our primary role. But these days, especially, we seem to have our hands in a lot of pots. But that's been a huge blessing. It really has. It's made us better community partners. And I think a little more focused, actually a lot more focused on our residents and building quality of life for the people that live here.
Well, and it's all about partnerships. I mean, really expanding the mission of each individual organization you mentioned is great and much easier when they develop those partnerships with others in the community, other organizations. And I'm really proud to be a part of that. So, and I want to actually give kudos to you, especially for building those partnerships over the years. They're very strong and working together. We're promoting the heck out of this town, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, we are too.
Yeah. Well, I just I want to say quickly, I did not take any towels from the courtyard by then. After I said it, I thought, oh gosh, someone's going to listen to this and go, what did he do? No, really, 1 or 2 ashtrays, but
that was it. So
anyway, there is a travel and tourism breakfast that's coming up at Moxie, downtown Vacaville, a wonderful new steakhouse on May 4th. And tell us about that because tickets, I think, are still available. It's open to everyone in the community, not just in the hospitality industry. Tell us about how that works.
So yes, Dave, on May 4th, Wednesday morning, 8 a.m., bright and early, we will host our annual tourism breakfast that we've actually not been able to hold for the last 2 years. So I'm thrilled to bring it back and to be able to bring it to this new restaurant in our downtown. We will talk tourism, celebrate all the great impacts that tourism has on our community and nationally as part of National Travel and Tourism Week. We've got an amazing slate of speakers that will talk about all different facets of the tourism economy and what's going on in the tourism industry. I will talk about what's happening in tourism in Vacaville. We've got Sonia Bradley from Visit Sacramento that's going to talk about equity and diversity and inclusion in tourism and what that looks like. And then we also have our rock star economist, Dr. Robert Eiler, that will talk about the tourism economy and those financial impacts and what we're seeing in the long term as to the rebound of tourism and what the financial implications are of rebuilding tourism after a pandemic.
That's fantastic. That's great. And that's at Moxie. Now that's Wednesday at 8 o'clock. If people want to get their tickets, where would they go for that?
They can get them at visitvacaville.com. They are available on our site, and we actually just put them on sale. So they are available, and we hope everyone will join us for breakfast. And just another enticement, there will be mimosas.
Awesome. Great. Well, you got moxie, kid. I'll tell you that. Okay. Well, I'm excited. I really am excited about what all the work that Visit Vacaville is doing. I'm excited about this breakfast coming up. We can learn more about the travel and tourism industry and watch the arm wrestling contest between you and Visit Sacramento. I can't wait.
Yes, it's going to be big. It's epic.
Melyssa, I just can't thank you enough for having me. It's been so much fun. And you are just a gas. You were so much fun. I love working with you, and being a part of Visit Vacaville is just, I won't say it's a dream of mine, because let's face it, Visit Vacaville even existed, but it's almost like a dream come true at this point. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, we do have some fun, Dave, and we so appreciate having you as the chair. And thanks for coming on and chatting about tourism with me. We've never gotten to do this on our tourism podcast, Really Talk Tourism. So I'm excited that we got to do that, and so glad that I got to do it with you. So thank you so much for being here.
Well, you take care. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you so much for listening to Destination Vacaville from Visit Vacaville, the city's official destination marketing organization. For more information on the people and places covered in today's episode and ideas for trip planning, head to visitvacaville.com. Music by Kurt Gellerstad, and thank you to Flores Podcast Consulting for their work on this and every episode of Destination Vacaville.